Rogan O'Hanley is back with us. So is Amy Tarkanian, the former Nevada State GOP chairwoman, and Mike Gatto, former Assemblyman from California, is with us as well, our Democratic representative on the panel. Rogan, first to you on this one. What's your big takeaway from what happened in Pennsylvania?
Well, it looks like the Trump endorsement is still just as strong as it ever was, and arguably the strongest endorsement from especially a non-sitting president in modern American history. Oz was pushed strongly by President Trump, by a lot of his surrogates, and it's an absolute nail biter. I admittedly was surprised that Kathy was a little bit farther behind. McCormick had kind of the surprise night, given how strong he's doing. He's a tremendous candidate, Bronze Star winner, served in the military, but Oz, has the President Trump endorsement. So it's gonna, come down to the wire here. But it just goes to show that Pennsylvania cannot get its act in place. They are still counting mail-in ballots a day after the election. This is stuff you see in second and third world countries. Yeah, it is concerning, not just in Pennsylvania, but elsewhere. And you also see a lot of other states, Amy, pushing for old school day of voting, paper ballots only. But what's your take on this race? I mean, Rogan mentioned Kathy Burnett. A lot of pollsters had her doing much better than this. Why do you think she didn't do better?
Well, the two men spent most of their time in the last couple of weeks beating her up, and quite honestly, I think defaming her character, which was hard for me to watch because you had a number of surrogates that I actually, admire in the MAGA world that were lying about her and trashing her, which I don't think is right. If you want to go ahead and attack someone on facts and votes and maybe how they would vote, or how they've stated they would vote on the record, then that's fair game. But to actually splice videos and lie and defame someone, that's not the way to go.
Amy, I don't know about all that, but she did tweet that the Muslim religion shouldn't be allowed in this country. I mean, there was some stuff that, I think definitely was baggage for her that drew her down. In Pennsylvania, pretty moderate state, a pretty purple state. Mike, how much do you think electability for the general election had to do with the final decision of Pennsylvania voters?
Well, I mean, studies have shown that voters don't make that calculus. They don't sit there and say, gee, this candidate is better to beat the member of the other party. They pick who they want. But I think you hit the nail on the head, and that is the Republican Party is going to have to decide, do they want to be the party of Trump? Do they want to keep electing candidates who might get through a Republican primary because of Mr. Trump's endorsement, but then fail miserably in the general election?
But let me.
I mean, look.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I want to push back a little bit on that.
Say, look, I mean, you can ask this Democrat for advice anytime. We've been pretty successful here in California. Oh, yes, with your one-party rule, your little fiefdoms you guys have set up over there. But, Democrats elected Fetterman to be their nominee, he's a radical left-wing guy. And I think actually this sets up better for Dave McCormick and Dr. Mehmet Oz. They might have more mass appeal than Fetterman might. Well, it goes to show, look, I mean, no party is immune from that. I mean, the parties vote for whoever they want. There is a turn that has happened in this country in the last 4 years towards authenticity. It explains the rise of Bernie Sanders. It explains the rise of Trump. It is a look for candidates who speak their mind, are honest, they wear what they want to wear, they say what they want to say. And that explains a lot of what's going on in our country right now.
All right, I have to laugh a little bit when you talk about the rise of Bernie Sanders because he's still a senator from Vermont. He's never passed a bill in his entire life. And he's just like a spur in your shoe, Bernie Sanders. I don't know. I don't think highly of Bernie Sanders. I'll leave it at that. All right, great to see everyone on our panel today. Mike Gatto, Amy Tarkanian, and Rogan O'Hanley. Great to